Welcome back to the F.L.O.E podcast, where we just have friendly chats with future leaders of excellence. I'm Sham, and this is Adric.
Notified, man.
We're both going to be your hosts for this episode and many more to come. Now, I want to welcome our guest here, Keon Parastaran, who will be talking to us about connections and also maybe a little bit about sleep schedule, because he was sleeping a little earlier while we were setting up. But just let's go ahead and start with the starter question.
Yeah. Oh, before we get to the starter question, Keon, tell the viewers about yourself.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's see. So I'm a freshman here at William Mary. Let's see. Major is currently thinking of double with psychology and music, probably. Music because I live and breathe music. I'm on an a cappella group here on campus called the Stairwells. Also taking vocal lessons, guitar lessons to actually add here. Professor Olbrich and Professor Mooney. Let's see. I played piano for 5 years, played cello for 8 years, took private lessons, and I composed a lot of songs. In addition to that, I'm also thinking of being a music therapist. In order to become a music therapist, you need to have a bachelor's in music if you want to do the 2-year equivalency program to get board certified.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why music and psychology, I find it very interesting. It would help with the music therapy, or if I become a clinical psychologist, become a talk therapist. So yeah, and that's the goal really. I want to help people, save people, heal people, all that good stuff. So yeah, and then in addition to the Stairwells, I'm involved in a lot of other clubs. But actually I might be talking about those later in the interview, so I'll save off from that.
Correction, it's not an interview, we're just chatting.
Yes,
right?
the chat,
Just,
the friendly
just
chat.
3 friends chatting it up, right?
Yeah.
You know the vibes.
Yeah.
But
I see that you do a lot. You're very interested in a lot of things. So, if you could choose one actor to play you in a movie, who would you choose?
Okay. I was actually just talking to someone yesterday. He asked me what's your favorite movie?
Mm-hmm.
And I was not sure at first, and then I thought of this. There's this movie called Definitely Maybe. It's a rom-com. Very, very sweet, very touching. I'm thinking Ryan Reynolds.
really,
Yes. I think he just has a kind face and this honesty about him, and at least the character he plays Definitely Maybe. It's very he seems kind of wholesome, So I think I would go with that. Yeah.
Hey, for the viewers out there, please don't hate me. But who is Ryan Reynolds? Hey, look. I'm not really good with actors' names and things of those natures and stuff like that. So really, don't get on me.
Does he play Deadpool? Yeah, that's right.
Oh, him.
Deadpool.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I knew who he would. I just didn't know his name. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
do you think he'd encompass your personality though? If he's playing in a movie about you, all about Keon, right? Would Ryan Reynolds really fit your personality?
I can't think of any. I feel I don't watch movies that much, so I can't think of any other actors. I mean, I think the actor that would fit my personality would have to be okay, they'd be more innocent.
Mm-hmm.
That's why wholesome, kinda goofy, and definitely bubbly.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's me. Outgoing, all that stuff. I don't know. Does that remind you of any guys?
I think you described Ryan Reynolds pretty well.
Okay, well then.
I'm not sure about the innocence part. I mean,
Deadpool, yeah. Very wholesome, family-friendly movie in Deadpool right there.
But I mean, aside from that, yeah, I mean, I think I could see Ryan Reynolds really playing you, But
That's a great question though, because even though I just asked the question, I don't even know who I think play myself. I probably want somebody like The Rock or Kevin Hart to play me.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't really know why. There's no relation to that, so I just want them to play me. I don't know.
I see Kevin Hart, low-key. No. If you could merge The Rock and Kevin Hart together,
Who's Kevin Hart again?
He's a comedian. Yeah, he plays. What's a good movie? You seen?
Jumanji? Have you seen that?
Oh, well, I've heard of it. Yeah. What characters they play in Jumanji?
Yeah, he played one person. What's another movie?
Was he
Short
was he
guy.
the African American guy?
Yeah, short, about 5
I think
foot.
I know who you're talking
about
about.
5'4"-ish.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be taller than that, but he looked about 5'4" to me.
What about Kevin Hart speaks to you?
To be like I said, I don't
You just
know.
like him.
Kevin Hart's funny, so I feel like
okay.
I'm
You
funny.
are definitely funny, yeah.
At times.
At times. On a good day, I'm funny.
Here we go, one for the books.
Yeah, at times, but yeah, I feel like him. And like now that Sam kind of mentioned it, if you kind of merge Kevin Hart and The Rock, I don't have the same work ethic as The Rock, when it comes out in the gym, but I like being in the gym a lot.
Yeah.
So you kind of mix someone who works out a lot with somebody with a sense of humor, and I feel like put them together, you got me a little bit. Don't really quote me on that. I just speak highly of myself sometimes.
Nice.
I'm not cocky either. We keep it humble.
Says everyone who says that. Say it again. So let's dive in, man.
Yeah.
How's life been? How's college life been? How have you been feeling?
Let's see. So I actually had a family meeting where I was talking to the posse 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
So like people that are going to be freshmen next year, or potentially going to be freshmen at William & Mary next year. And they were asking like, is there any advice you would give for like people in college?
Perfect.
And I was like, okay, so I kind of came into college being like, you know what? College's going to be amazing. All these problems that are in high school are magically going to go away. It's going to be a fresh start, and it's going to be beautiful, and like nothing's going to get in the way of that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, how naive I was. Yeah, college on the whole has been like a lot of great things, but perfect is not a word to describe it, and that's because perfect is not really a word that describes life in general. You would not be human if your life was perfect. So yeah, I came in here in college, and because the thing is, when you go to college, it is a fresh start. It is great, better than high school in my opinion. But the fact of the matter is, you're still you. Mm-hmm. So problems you've had in the past aren't necessarily just gonna go away. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes that's a misconception. People think it's called like the geographical cure, which isn't necessarily a thing. So yeah, there's definitely been ups and downs. I would say there has objectively been more ups, like with a lot of the things I'm getting involved in and like classes and stuff. But there have been downs too, like some like troubles. Obviously. But yeah, on the whole, I think it's been a good experience, I think.
So one of the things you got involved in?
Yeah, so sterols, obviously. That's been an amazing thing. It was always the activities fair. So there's this guy named Adam who was tabling for the gents. And he goes up to me and he says, "Do you like to sing?" And I was like, "I love to sing." He was like, "You should audition for the gents." I was like, "I don't harmonize." He says, "That's okay." And I was like, okay. So I signed up for the gents and double take. And then I was in the big room in Boswell where everyone who's auditioning waits. This guy comes up and he says in this really deep voice, "Is anyone here for the stairwells?" And I go, "What's the stairwells?" And he looks at me, he's just like, "An acapella group?" Because this is the acapella audition room. And I was like, no, I mean, like, what gender are you guys? Like, what genre do you sing? And he was like, "Oh, we're all male. We do a bit of everything." So I was like, okay, why not? So I also auditioned for the Kleptos on the spot and the Sterols. Sterols was the only guy that gave me a callback, and they ended up accepting me after the callback. And honestly, like, the fact that they were the only ones that gave me a callback, it worked out perfectly, because like Sterols is a really important group for me. Like, in addition to like I love singing, and making music, but also like the family I have with the Sterols. It's honestly like a really beautiful thing. I feel like I can talk to those guys about pretty much anything. The day before my birthday, I went home for the weekend, and then when I came back, Sean and Brian, who are 2 seniors in the group, probably the 2 people I'm closest to, they picked me up from the train. I didn't even ask them to. Sean would just send me a text. It was like, "Hey, what time are you getting off the train?" And I was like 8:40 something, and he was like, "Beautiful, I'll be there to pick you up." And then I was like, "Is Cookout open?" And they took me to Cookout. And then Sean was like, "I'm not gonna give you your food yet because we're going somewhere." And then they just drove me to the beach, and we had food on the beach, and later we went to the amphitheater, and Sean, unfortunately, unsuccessfully tried to teach me how to skip stones. I say unsuccessfully because it was all me. I could not skip stones. I would, like, throw them and to go, like, kaplunk in the water. But it was really beautiful, and Sean was just like, yeah, we just wanted to take you somewhere, because, and it was really nice. So, yeah, they've been amazing. I love those guys to death. And honestly, I can say that about a lot of people here, which is, I think, a really beautiful thing. And that is in part because I feel like I come to really like love people easily, but also genuinely, you know. And yeah, and also there are a lot of lovable people here. I mean, I'm sitting in a room with two of them right here, so right now. So yeah, that's one. Steril's amazing. Also in Delta Tau Omicron, which is a music fraternity. So that's pretty cool. I haven't gotten to know those people as much. We have chapter today actually, so that'll be nice. But they seem like really fun people. And then I never thought I'd be in a social frat, but I'm in a social frat. I rushed this semester for Sigma Phi Epsilon. Yeah, what's up?
Wait, so you in two frats?
Yes, but the thing is, since it's a music fraternity, it doesn't count as the same type of fraternity.
Okay.
So theoretically, you could be in a lot of frat. You could be like, technically, you could be in a social frat, a thing like Delta Tau Omicron. You could theoretically be in an honors frat, like a service frat, academic frat, all that stuff.
I didn't know they did
Yeah,
that.
but you can't be in more than one social frat. So it's like the type of frat you're in. So you can't be like in SIGAP and like SAE or SIGAP and DKI or whatever, So yeah. But yeah, so for that one, it all started because of the rock paper scissors challenge. So people were tabling at Sadler, and it was like the rock paper scissors challenge. Best of one, you win, get free candy. You lose, here are a 30-second pitch. I was like, okay, this is kind of clever. So I go there and I'm like, I actually won. I got like free dots or something. But then they were like, I was like, you know what? This is clever and I'm curious. What is your 30-second pitch? And they were like, hey, so we're a new fraternity on campus. We've only been here 2 semesters. We're just trying to talk to guys, see what they need. Can I get your contact info? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll take the leap. So I gave him the contact info. Talked to this guy named Jonathan. We just had a really nice chat. He was asking me about myself. I was asking about him. And he was like, listen, Keon, it was great talking to you. If you want, like, me and some of the brothers are going ice skating, even if you're not, like, rushing officially, you can just meet some new guys. I was like, sure, why not? So I met them, and that's how I, like, started, like, the official rush process, because I was like, okay, this is cool, and then I signed up the form you have to do to rush. And then I also talked to Dylan. Dylan is one of my close friends here. He's my best friend from high school. And he's in SIGA. And so that's how I got to know them. And another friend of mine, Jess, was saying, like, yeah, if she's in a sorority, and she was like, if I could, like, bet on one guy walking me home, it would be a guy from SIGA out of the fraternities. So and Dylan was like, oh, yeah, we love that good reputation, we're good guys. Yes. And I was like, hey, Dylan is one of the best human beings I know on this planet. If he says they're a great group of guys, they are probably a great group of guys. So I rushed them as well. Really liked we had a Pong tournament, actually, and so, like, that was a lot of fun, and I got to actually talk to some of the brothers in depth. Talked to like 2 or 3 of them, like had a really good conversation, and I was like really impressed. I thought they were like really great guys. I asked both people from Alpha Sig, which is the Rock Paper Scissors Challenge frat, and SIGAP the same question. I said, what's your favorite thing you've gotten out of being in this frat? And the Alpha Sig people, like, one person was like, oh, I really like recruitment, that's fun, and another person was just like consistent fun. I was like, okay, those are okay answers. But then, like, these other guys from SIGAP were saying, like, how much they love the brotherhood and, like, how they've bonded with the people in the frat. Like, someone was like, oh, yeah, like, my best friends are in the frat, and, like, anything I want to do, if I want to, like, eat somewhere, if I want to go out, I just, like, ask the boys, and, like, I was like, yeah, that sounds great, because, like, I'm all about, like, community. Like, I find having a group of people, like, because, everyone has friends, and friends are awesome. And, like, when you have them, like, separately, you have a friend from a class here, a friend from, like, I don't know, like, some group here. But when you have a group of, like, a friend group of people, I found those are really important for me. And I didn't realize how important they were for me until, like, about senior year when I really got, like, a great group of friends. Mm-hmm. So having that is really important for me. So, yeah, I'm in SIGAP now, which is awesome. And that's how I usually, like, spend weekends. Like, there'll be, like, Friday and Saturday nights, there'll be like some sort of mixer or a date party or something with the brothers. So that's fun. I also do a lot of intramural sports. So I captained indoor soccer team with Sham. That was a lot of fun. We were the Los Campeones. We later learned that Los Campeones does not mean the champions.
It
means
Champiñones.
Champiñones. The mushrooms.
Right. And Las Campeones means.
Wait, what?
It's instead of we added the H. which means mushrooms without the H. Campignones means.
So campiñones, champions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but here's how it is. Okay, we may have been the mushrooms accidentally, but some mushrooms are poisonous, right? So when teams split, they felt our wrath. You know?
Clever.
Yeah.
That's a good way to turn.
Around, yeah. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Okay, so let's see. Unfortunately, our first game we didn't have it was a correct team. We only had one girl show up because only one girl showed up, we forfeited the match. Second game, I think that was that the game I played in? Yes, that was the only full game I played in as goalkeeper the whole time instead of just one of the hats or something. That was a good game in goal though. And it was a good game in general. We lost 5-4 unfortunately. We were 2-0 down at halftime. Then it was 3-2. And then they unfortunately scored 3 on a row, so it was 5-3. But then with 30 seconds to go, Tim. By the way, there's this guy named Tim on our team. Do you remember Tim? He's on Club A, and he is good. He scored all 4 of our goals that day. It was. I texted him afterward to be what a performance, man. But yeah, unfortunately we couldn't get that 5th goal to tie it up. But it was a great game. And then I wasn't there for the 3rd game, but I heard we smashed them. Right? Do you remember that game? It was I heard it was 6-1 or something. And then 4th game.
Wait. So the games where you didn't show up either?
No, he showed up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was trying to. Never mind.
Yeah.
Like a little joke.
Trying to win.
I was about to say, so the games when y'all don't show up, y'all win.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh geez, what was the 4th game like? Do you remember?
I think we were pretty close on that one.
Yeah.
Because that was the one where we won. You weren't there because you had to go home.
Yeah.
But the one afterwards, I think we played well because we won consecutively after that game, and then we lost the.
Well, we won it was 2-1 or we had to go to extra time for our first play game, right? It was 2-2. Yeah. But then I think they scored 2. It was 4-2 at the end, right? Yeah, it was Tim scored off a free kick or something, and then there was another one. Yeah. Also, being captain, I took my leadership responsibilities very seriously. I was the most extra captain ever. After a game, I would text paragraphs, or no, one paragraph, being yo guys,
paragraphs.
Not paragraphs for okay.
One thing about Keon, the way Keon texts, Keon just don't send one message. He says multiple messages after message.
This is true. But I remember that first game when we lost 5-4. I was guys, it sucks that we didn't win obviously, but this was a team that had won I think before our game they had won 6-1 and 4-0 or something. So I was this is a team that destroyed other teams. We went toe to toe with them every step of the way, and I was coming back scoring 3 goals after we were 2-0 down at halftime shows we never gave up, and that's an amazing thing, something to be proud of. Shout out to Tim for the 4 goals, that was amazing, and all that stuff. Obviously as someone unfortunately got knocked out at semifinals or regionals. It's 2-0. But I texted them saying how much I enjoyed being captain and just playing with them. It was really fun. So I captained that. I also captained a handball team, which was also a lot of fun. I played goalkeeper in both soccer and handball. And that was with a lot of the people who are now my Siga brothers actually. And they're freshmen obviously. That was a lot of fun. There's a certain point in handball when being goalkeeper gets very discouraging, because if they're a certain level, you barely save anything because they throw so hard, and the ball kind of curves and it's really weird. Our first game we got smashed. 16-5 was the score at halftime, which means you get mercy rolled. Because if you're down by 10 at halftime or any point after halftime, the game just ends. Yeah, they were baseball players, which means they're athletic and they can throw hard. But then our second and third and fourth games, it was more even. Sometimes we didn't have enough people to show up, so one game we got mercy rolled, but it was with 5 minutes to go, and we were also a man down the whole time, and they had 7. So not only did they have 6 the whole time, they could sub. We got tired at the end, obviously. So handball is very tiring, by the way. Oh my gosh, if you're playing outfield, that is. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and now I play frat in the frat league, and I'm also on a correct team with Ronaldo, who was interviewed, or you guys had a friendly chat with him. just before now.
Shout out to Ronaldo.
Yeah. Yes, very, very much shout out to Ronaldo. Yeah, he's captain, and he seems like he does a great job being captain, and he's a cool guy, So I was happy to join his team, and yeah, I haven't played a game yet because I have a little thing with my knee, but I think I'm gonna play this week, and that'll be fun. We're playing a team who's won 6-1 and 5-0, so it's gonna be a challenge, but we'll be up to it. So. Yeah, and then I'm also in CASA. That's probably one I'm least involved in. I haven't gone to too many meetings, but I also CASA. Oh my gosh, they did like this one thing where they were like doing K-pop. The guess the song kind of thing, where it's like they'll play like a couple seconds of a song and then like people will shout like, oh, it's this song by this artist, right? They did that with K-pop. Oh my god, they are so good. They are so good. Like literally, it'll be like the first note of the instrument, and they'll be like, it's this song by BTS, and I'm like, ow, I can't even do that with an English song. And then I joke like, I feel so much less Korean now, but as a joke, obviously. But yeah, it's pretty funny. So yeah, I think those are the 5 things I'm involved in, and yeah, it's great.
Well, at least we know if we ever do a musical skit, who to call.
Yeah.
Exactly. or like any skit of any kind, because I act.
Yeah, see, there we go. Double or nothing,
Yeah.
But
love it.
I mean, since we're on the topic of connections, I mean,
yes.
You seem to have met like a wide number of people, right?
True, yep.
And they've come to be very close friends of yours, right? So, I mean, how did you at least look towards like, what was your approach in terms of finding these friends, right? Because many people would come in, join frats or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But they won't get the most out of it. So what did you do differently, or what would you advise?
I mean, honestly, it's like, well, first of all, when you're making friends, definitely be yourself. Like, this sounds so cliche, but like the thing is, if you like try to like, even if you just like try to tweak a little bit, like your personality, because you think like someone will like you more, even if that works, they just like the altered version of Keon. But you don't want them to like the altered version of Keon. You're gonna have a better friend if they like the real Keon. Fun fact, that's actually my Instagram, the real Keon. But anyways, so yeah, I would say definitely be yourself when it comes to like meeting new people. And also just like, I would say take the leap in terms of like, if you think someone is cool, like you don't have to be afraid of like asking them to hang out, A lot of times, I ask people to hang out all the time that I've just started talking to. And most people, they don't like find it weird, especially at this college in particular. I think people are very friendly and very open. So like, I mean, no matter who the person is, if it's like a person of the opposite gender or someone like you're not sure, well, like, I don't know, like it never hurts really. I mean, worst case scenario, you hang out with them and you're like, you don't vibe that much. It's like, okay, well, at least we got to spend some time together, and I kind of found out we don't vibe as much one-on-one. But yeah, and like I think I'm pretty good about like asking people to hang out. I usually will just tell them straight up like, yo, you seem like a really nice person, and nice person I always say like, are very swag and fun to spend time with. And the thing about that is like, no one's gonna be offended if you say you seem like a nice person, nice people are fun to be spent time with. Like, if anything, and that you sure are, they'll be like flattered, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'd love to. And for me, I think I usually come across as a nice person too. So I mean, usually, like, and I tell them straight up, it's just like, I think you're cool, so I'd love to spend time together. So I don't think I have any bad intentions or anything, I think they're just like, they're usually excited to hang out, and yeah, then from there, we'll get to talk, usually keep it lighthearted, like the first time we talk, although sometimes, if like, we just talk about like more deep stuff. It just depends on really how the vibe's going. But yeah, and also like a thing that I do a lot is like, if someone starts talking about something, or if I always like to check it. Like, even if I don't know the person well, if they seem like they're tired or low energy, whether that's like at a SIGAP event or just anything real, I'll just be like, hey, you okay? And sometimes people are like, what? Because they're a little confused. And like, I remember I was at this Fancy Friday, which is where a friend invited me to it. And it's like, we all dressed up, and we cooked dinner. And this guy at one point, he was like, we were doing karaoke, and he seemed kind of like lower energy. He was just sitting there. He looked a little sad. So I didn't want to like ask him. So I I had a Snapchat, so I texted him on Snapchat. I was like, "Yo, you okay?" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, you just seem low on energy," so I went on to check in. He was like, "Oh, thanks, man. Like, I'm just at the point where I'm like low on energy. It's getting late." I was like, "Okay, cool." And I find doing that is just like, it shows you really care, and people really appreciate that. And yeah, it's a great way to like, make people like. I don't want to say make people because you're not forcing them or anything, but like, kind of like earn a little trust and just like communicate that like, yo, I mean, I'm here for you if you need it. Because that's another thing I kind of live by. Like, even if I don't know the person, even if I like don't necessarily get along with the person super well, I mean, I think the world would be a better place if people cared a little bit more about each other. And so I try my best to always care about people. I won't say unconditionally because I think that's a little unrealistic, but just you know what I mean. So yeah, and just like taking the leap when hanging out with people, showing them that you care even early on, it never hurts really, and like I think people appreciate that, especially here. I think William Mary, like kindness is really valued, which one of the reasons why I love William Mary. I mean, I think that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything besides that. Just being outgoing and just talking to people. It's nice.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Because we're expecting this too, but after this, we better get a DM saying, "Hey, it was nice chatting with you."
I mean, oh yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. After I hang out with someone, I always text them and I'm always like, "Yo, that was really fun." Like and like I usually like when I have a good time, I always because you know how I say like at the beginning, I'm like, "Oh, I think you're a cool person," and so it'd be cool to spend time together. I always. If they're indeed cool, which they usually are, I'll like text them and be like, my suspicions that you are a, cool and nice person have very much been confirmed. Like, we should totally do it again sometime if you're down. And then they usually respond like, yeah, that was fun. I'd love to do it again. So yeah.
Did you have something?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It may take the conversation kind of turn it a little bit, but I know you said one thing you do is you kind of love people or have love for people a little fast.
True.
What are like the downs of loving people like too quickly?
That's a good point. Let's see. So I found so far with like, at least during my college experience, like the people I've said like I love you too. So far, it hasn't turned out badly in terms of like it hasn't been like I've said I love you to them, and then like, A, they were like reacted badly or something, or like weirded out. So that hasn't happened. Or B, like it turns out that they weren't the person I thought they were. Like both of those things haven't happened. So that has been okay. In terms of like the concept of love, romantically, that doesn't always. I mean, I've only said I love you to one person in my life. I think when I'm meaning romantically. But like catching feelings, that is the thing I do easily. Catching big feelings. That has been some of the downs I was talking about when it comes to college. But yeah, in terms of just like general concept of like loving your friends and stuff. So far, that's only been good. So what's up?
That's
okay.
Do you think it's because you kind of like always want to see the good in people?
I definitely am naive and idealistic. Yes, I do definitely see the good in people. Even when people are not so nice to me. Like, I'll often say, like, when I talk about people that have, like, hurt me in some way, a lot of times I say, like, listen, I think they're a good person or even a great person. It's just they had a moment where they weren't so nice to me. And sometimes my friend is actually like, Keon, I wish you wouldn't make excuses for the people that hurt you. But I think I am very idealistic. I do try to see the best in people. I think, or not even try. I think it's just a thing that naturally happens, And I'm very quick to just like assume that a person is like a cool person and like a nice person. So far I've been right most of the time though, because people at William Mary are just nice. It's like almost everyone I feel like is at least a little bit nice. So yeah.
It's like one thing that like a little tip of advice is yes, it may be true that everybody is good and everybody's a good person, because me personally I think everybody's a good person too. It's just that person just may not fit into your life.
Oh yeah, totally.
Which is one thing that you should always like keep in mind and just know is that yes, this person may be a nice person or something like that, but you know the energy that they're giving off towards you just doesn't really fit with your lifestyle and how you want to see them. And another thing is really don't let that really affect you and just keep going, because at the end of the day it's like I just said, that person just may not fit into your lifestyle. So and it's a lot of people, and like you said, you met a lot of people too who are nice and they just fit your lifestyle and you kind of want to hang with them again. So I mean,
I see that, because like, you know, even though they like two people might be like good people, they're not necessarily always compatible as like friends or friends or anything like that. Yeah, for sure.
So say you were to die in the next few days.
Oh jeez. Okay. this friendly chat took a dark turn.
Don't worry, it's still friendly, okay?
Okay, cool.
But what would you like to leave the world with? Maybe it's a sentence, a word.
Oh, wow.
What would you leave your friends, your family, or just the general world? What would you like to leave before you go off into the void of wherever?
Oh, I think I know. Oh wait, I think there was. Oh. Yes. I have gone my life. Okay, so. I think the quality of myself. This is the thing I'm most proud of about myself, and I think my best quality is this thing right here. I have a very big heart, and that's why I talk about loving people. If I left the world in a couple days, I would leave them with this. I've gone my whole life really loving people, and this heart has a lot of love in it that, and people can see that, right? And I think it's a really beautiful thing. But I've also gone this whole life without loving the person that is most important for me to love, and that's myself. Self-love is so important. Like, actually, Rio, do you remember that poem? It was like, there is you and you, this is a relationship, and the most important one. So I would say, I mean, for people like me, and just for anyone really, it's not easy. It's not, there's no formula to it, I don't think, really. It's not like do A, B, and C and you will love yourself. But do what you can to get there. And it's a process, and I'm not saying like, oh, you know, just like if you say, I will love myself in 2 weeks, you'll love yourself or something. That's not really how it works. But I don't think I've put enough effort into loving myself, to be honest. And I would leave it with that. There was actually a song I wrote. So just remember, you know, love for others, really important. But every day is a lovely day to love yourself. I think that's what I would leave the world with.
Well, beautiful. I think it has me at the edge of tears. And we definitely need to hear this song next time.
Yeah.
But that's it for today's F.L.O.E podcast. It's Keon over here going with the flow as always. Adric now going to give us some closing messages, and we'll see you guys off at the next one.
Hey man, it was fun. Keon,
yes, for
thank
sure.
you for being on the show with us today.
My pleasure.
Y'all heard it from him. You know, we just vibing. Yeah. So, you know, that's it. We're going to see y'all next time, and we out. Peace.